Hey guys, and welcome to this video on how to accelerate your purpose in astrology using the Persona Chart. I'm Cassandra, the Saffron Sage, helping you use astrology to evolve. And in this video, we're talking about how to, find that path to your highest potential using astrology. So a lot of you know I talk about the midheaven often. So the midheaven is the point at the top of the chart. It represents our highest potential in career. It's like what the world kind of wants to reward us for. It's not our career, it's not our job, but it's an energy that if we embrace in our work, in our career, we tend to be more successful. So as an example, I have a midheaven in Gemini, and the more that I keep it short and sweet and to the point, the more that I share facts, the more that I don't share my opinion with my beliefs, which is Sagittarius, the opposite point, the more that I consider the mindset of my student when I'm teaching, the better I do, right? Now, some people might say, well, that's true for everyone. No, it's not. No, it's not. Because if someone has a Sagittarius midheaven, that would be the opposite of mine. They can go on and they can talk about their beliefs. They can preach, they can talk about their opinion, and people will reward them for it. So these are the people who have opinions that you watch, like the talk show hosts or, even like maybe some of the spiritual gurus out there who are sharing the deeper meaning of life. Some of them are going to have Sag midheavens, because when you do those things, the things of that sign in your career, in your public image, the world kind of rewards you for it, even if it's not who you are. So that all being said, how do you reach your midheaven? There is a chart that can help you reach it, and it's called the MC Persona Chart. Now, I want to introduce what are persona charts, why I think this is useful, and how to use them and everything in this video. A persona chart is created by whenever the sun first hits that point in your natal chart. So when you're born and you're a baby, you're born the moment you're born, the chart is a snapshot of the sky at that time. The persona chart is of each point that it crosses is going to be when the sun first hit that thing. So, whenever the sun first hit your moon, the first sun-moon conjunction from when you were a baby, that's your moon persona chart. Whenever the sun hits your rising sign from when you're a baby, that is your ascendant persona chart, and so on. And there are actually about 26, I think, different persona charts in astro.com. So you can do the persona chart of your moon, which tells like the story of your emotions, right? It's going to tell how you communicate, how you feel, how people think of you as an emotional person when they first meet you, what your highest potential in your emotions are, how you merge with others on an emotional level, etc. So the midheaven persona chart tells you how you are in your highest potential in career, and it kind of highlights some of the energies or dynamics or challenges that you might see on the path to your highest potential. So why I love the persona chart of the midheaven is that oftentimes when we get information on what our midheaven is, it's like you don't have that much to go from for how to actually follow it, right? So let's say you learn you're a Taurus midheaven. So now you're supposed to build something or enjoy yourself, right? Do things that deal with the senses, be like a Taurus when it comes to career. So that would mean not settle for less, avoid drama, right? Try not to be like a Scorpio. That's another way to look at it, is try not to be like the opposite sign. Try to embody that sign in your work and in how you meet the world. Right? So Taurus midheavens can be like have a grounding and stabilizing influence on other people, and that's what they're going to be rewarded for. But how do you get there? How do you go from who you are now to that person who has embodied that and opened that up? That is what the persona chart is for. So we're going to do a sample chart of a random person. This is not a real person, but I did just a sample chart of someone as if they were born today. And we're going to look at what kind of things you can see using this persona chart. So we're going to look at the rising sign. It is Sagittarius. So this is how they are going to approach their career. So which means this will be someone who always wants to grow in their career. They're always going to be expanding. And on some level, they'll never be satisfied, because wherever we have Sagittarius, we are never satisfied. So that being said, we know this person, the sun is in Cancer. That means their midheaven is in Cancer. because this is a chart of when the sun hit their midheaven. So what they are their highest potential in career is going to be that midheaven in Cancer, which is like learning how to nurture, learning how to be vulnerable, learning how to have that almost like shopkeeper energy of making everyone feel like they belong, they're comfortable in some way. Now remember, that's not going to be the person's job. That's going to be the energy that if they embody, the world is going to reward them for. So then we can look at Mercury for their communication. So this person has Mercury in their 6th house, which means they're likely to do better at their career if they're communicating every day, especially it being in Gemini, right? Mercury and Gemini, this is going to be someone who's speaking, right? Maybe a speaker, because Sag plus Gemini, that's going to be speaking and talking, communicating. Maybe they have a podcast. Maybe they have, maybe they're writing or maybe they're a copywriter, stuff like that. They have Mars square Pluto in this chart. So this really tells me that this person would be really, concerned, or there's going to be tension around reaching the top in career, because Pluto in the 1st house in a persona chart, this means they will probably have to transform their self-image a few times. They may need to transform how they come across in order to reach the goals they want to reach. So this person maybe would have like some goals that are like about a fame or being in the public eye in some way, or doing some other work where the way that they look or the way that they come across really, really affects how that work is done. That has a wide range of potential possibilities, right? But we could see this person is going to have challenges with their motivation versus their own power/powerlessness, with Pluto in the 1st of the persona chart, Mars in the 3rd making a square. Mars in Aries in this chart says they're going to really want to move forward in their career. That plus that ascendant being on Sag being on the ascendant, that's going to be someone who is very, motivated, right? And that Mars actually trines the ascendant, which means they really will have the ability to make an impact, right? Because a fire sign on the ascendant will definitely be the kind of person that when they walk into the room, they are the ones starting that conversation. Now remember, this only applies when it comes to the work they're doing in the world, right? Because otherwise their regular ascendant is still their ascendant. Okay, so this is where you have to keep that in mind when you're looking at the persona chart. It doesn't replace the natal chart. It tells you the personality of the path you're taking to your highest potential in this chart, because we're doing the midheaven. So Mars in Aries, this just says this person is motivated to reach their career goals. They might go too fast sometimes. They could do startups, right? Mars in Aries wants to start things and is really wonderful at starting things and being the first to do something. So this person could have some kind of pioneering energy when it comes to their career. And that Pluto, Pluto square Mars in general is going to have power struggles. It's going to struggle with not being the best. Pluto in the 1st house from an evolutionary perspective is all about learning it's about actually needing to learn what makes you special. And so this person might have a bit of a complex around like how good they are at things. They might have a little bit extra energy when it comes to just the way their ego is affected in their work. Now, this could end up meaning that they do very good work, right? Because having Venus and Mercury there in that 6th house, technically Venus is the 5th house of the persona, but Mercury in that 6th house and that Pluto in the 1st, it's like obsessed with doing good work, obsessed with how they communicate, obsessed with their communication, moving things forward. Also in this chart, the moon is in the 4th. Wherever we have the moon in the persona chart is like our emotional needs when it comes to reaching our highest potential, and where we can tend to be most sensitive. So that moon in the 4th of home is in Taurus. It's like this person needs stability in their home to do well in their work. And that's not uncommon, right? But with moon in Taurus in the persona chart, remember, that doesn't mean they are a moon in Taurus. But when it comes to the path to their highest potential, this person would be more distracted if they don't have the nice things, right? If they don't have a certain level of comfort. So already I can see this person is going to have some challenges between their desire for power and to like accomplish things versus their desire for comfort, right? Because in order to really embrace that Pluto Mars, it's all about moving forward. But in order to really embrace that Cancer Taurus energy, it's about being comfortable. So this person might only be motivated until they reach a certain level, and then their motivation is off because they got what they wanted, that kind of thing. And so they might have to work hard to keep pushing themselves to go further, or, you know, it could actually all blend together here where this person is highly motivated, has lots of energy toward reaching their highest potential. But they have some challenges, right? They have people in their life that are blocking them, or they have an identity problem that's causing them to not see themselves dedicated or powerful or capable as they truly are with that Pluto Mars square. That's another way that can show up. The power struggle can be inverted into like thinking they're not capable. With squares, oftentimes we feel like the walls are coming in on us with those energies until we learn when and how to push back. So this is someone who would need to learn how to embrace their power if they're not already. So then we can look, for example, to the second house of this chart to see what sign on the cusp, what we've got going on here. Saturn in the second in a persona chart means it won't necessarily be easy for this person to make money to reach their higher potential. They may have to really work hard for it, be really responsible and diligent. Well, that's not uncommon, but with Saturn, it's like you don't get to cut corners, right? So this person cannot cut corners financially in their career. They have to do it by the book in some way. And it's in Aquarius. So this person could somehow be isolated from groups in some way. At some point during their career, they might find themselves that they work better in isolation. Although, you know, these planets in the second quadrant to me really kind of make it feel like almost like this would be someone who could work in isolation, but also one-on-one. So maybe not a therapist, but in some kind of work where they're helping people one-on-one with that sun in the seventh, this can be one-on-one work. In the natal chart, having the sun or moon in the seventh, this will be, especially the moon, this will be like a therapist. If it's the sun, one-on-one client work does fall in that category. That's not the only indication of sun in the seventh, but it's one of them. And with this Saturn in Aquarius in this chart, it makes me feel like it would be almost like a need for privacy in how they make money, or making money in a way that is somehow isolated from other people. Now that could be they go to retreats and they do work there, and then that's a form of isolation from the crowd. It could be that they, you know, do paperwork and they are writing, right, with that Mercury in the sixth, or they meet with small groups of people that are, not out in the public, especially because there's not a whole lot going on at the top of this chart. Now, we really need to look at the natal chart to understand this person, right? And so it's almost better to know what's happening in the natal. So, right, this person has their midheaven in Cancer, like we talked about, and that midheaven ruler in the fifth house. So they might do something related to children, where they are not out with the public, they are at home with kids. They might do something with moon conjunct Saturn being the ruler of their fourth house. Again, this could be someone who works from home. So having all the planets in the Western Hemisphere in their natal does indicate that their life is about others. And then having all those planets basically in that second quadrant, which is the Northern Hemisphere, the bottom of the chart, that really kind of makes it a little bit less public. So working with others in a more private way. Another indication that they could either make money doing one-on-one client work, they could make money from relationships, they could make more money if they are in a relationship. Sometimes people with their second ruler in the seventh, it's like somehow the work they do helps them in relationships to meet people, or maybe they meet their partner at work. It really depends. But it being an Aries makes me feel like, and the Sag on their the Sag on their ascendant in the persona makes me feel like this is going to be someone who does stuff that's a little bit more active, right? So almost like someone who works one-on-one with people, and then they do really kind of push them a little bit, like a coach who's like a motivating coach. That is one thing someone with this chart could do. It's not the only thing. Fifth house can also be the entertainment industry. So keep in mind that when someone books with me, I already know what they do. So it helps. It helps to figure out the energies that are at play. And with the persona chart, we can see so much about like what your potential blocks are to your highest potential, how to work through those, how to use those squares to energize instead of letting them come in on you, and just more about like how you approach your highest potential, what's working, you know, what your gifts are, and then what the challenges are. So I hope this video was helpful. Let me know in a comment below if you have questions. I love hearing from you. And what do you guys think? Do you guys use the persona chart? Have you ever used it? And what are your thoughts? Let me know. You can also get my free guide to align with your midheaven. It's a quick little document that helps you know what direction to head in life to really foster and cultivate that midheaven, those midheaven energies within yourself, and avoid the traps of the I see, so you can have more success in your career. So that is what I have for this video, you guys, and I will see you in the next video.